What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm exploring the alternate election timeline where Gerald Ford wins the 1976 presidential election and what happens after. So let's get to it. In 1976, the incumbent president is Gerald Ford and he is up against Jimmy Carter. However, in this timeline the economy recovers and Gerald Ford manages to win the election approximately by defeating Carter with about 2% of the popular vote. The same margin that Carter did win by in our timeline. So Gerald Ford sits for another 4 years until 1980 when he decides not to run for re-election. In 1980 the stage is set for a Democratic wave. Incumbent President Gerald Ford decides to not run for another term, and Edward Kennedy, the senator from Massachusetts, defeats George Herbert Walker Bush, former congressman from Texas and CIA director, in a quite narrow win. Bush takes most of the southern states, but with Kennedy selecting Lloyd Bentsen as his running mate, he ends up victorious. When Ford was re-elected in 1976, the economy was on the rise, but by 1980 it was down again, and also the Iran hostage crisis helped propel Edward Kennedy to the presidency. In 1984, Kennedy runs for re-election and he wins by a quite big margin against Kansas Senator Bob Dole. Also this time, thanks to Lloyd Bentsen, he manages to do quite well in the South, and he even manages to win some West Coast states. His presidency is marked by economic stability, success on the foreign front, and progress on civil rights. However, by 1988, again the economy is in the tumbles, and it is set for a Republican wave. The Republicans nominate the senator from California, Pete Wilson. And with the approval ratings of President Kennedy plummeting, Pete Wilson is seen as the massive favorite to win. So California Senator Pete Wilson wins in a landslide against Delaware Senator Joe Biden. Wilson is also strong in his 1992 re-election. This time he is running against Arkansas Governor Bill Clinton, and even this time he wins re-election in a landslide. Wilson's presidency is marked by a massive degree of unrest and bad race relations. When he is barred from seeking a third term in 1996, most people expect the Democrats to retake the White House again. Democrats nominate Wendell Ford, senator from Kentucky, and the Republicans nominate businessman Steve Forbes because they know that there is a requirement and a demand in the people for an anti-establishment candidate. In the end, Senator Ford wins a quite convincing victory. Steve Forbes wins most of the states in the Mountain West and some of the states in the South, as well as the state of New Hampshire, Indiana, and his home state of New Jersey. But Wendell Ford, a conservative Southern Democrat, delivering the crucial state of Florida to the Democratic Party and handing them the victory for the first time in 12 years. Even though President Ford is an old man, he decides to run for re-election in the year 2000. But this time the Republicans are on the offensive. They are trying their best to take the White House, and it is a very rough and close election. They nominate the senator from Tennessee, Bill Frist, and the election is very, very close. After a long and agonizing recount in the state of Missouri, Bill Frist is pronounced the winner on December 1st, 2000. He takes the White House in 2001, and only 9 months later, terrorists attack the World Trade Center in New York. Soon, President Frist is leading a country at war, first in Afghanistan and later in Iraq. He runs for re-election in 2004. This time he runs against the senator from Massachusetts, John Kerry, who is criticizing Frist's handling of the war in Iraq and the war in Afghanistan. Frist improves on his 2000 margin and wins the state of Pennsylvania and New Mexico while losing the state of New Hampshire. Even though he is a popular president, his approval ratings are hurt by the war in Iraq as well as an economy that starts to decline in year 2007 and ends in a recession in 2008. There's a new Democratic wave, and the Democratic Party nominates the senator from North Carolina, John Edwards. He challenged Senator from Arizona, John McCain, and the election is expected to be close, but soon it turns out that a massive wave is helping the Democrats retake the White House and the Senate and the House. In the end, John Edwards makes massive inroads in the South, winning the two southern states of Virginia and North Carolina, who have not been voting for a Democrat in a very long time. John McCain manages to win his home state of Arizona as well as neighboring Nevada, where John Edwards did not campaign, but the election is still considered a blowout, and a 6-point victory in the popular vote by John Edwards, the biggest since 1996. John Edwards runs for re-election in 2012. He is up against former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney. The election is tense and rough, but in the end he is a narrow favorite to win re-election as the economy is improving. Even though he loses the state of Virginia as well as the state of Colorado, which he won 4 years earlier, John Edwards ended up winning re-election by a bigger than expected margin. In 2016, a very big field of Republicans are trying to win the nomination. In the end, it goes to Republican governor of Wisconsin, Scott Walker, who ends up choosing the senator from Florida, Marco Rubio, as his running mate. He is up against the Democratic nominee, Hillary Clinton, and with the economy being quite weak during Edwards' last years, he cruises to victory. He wins the state of Wisconsin, where he is governor, the state of Colorado, where he is born, and a bunch of other swing states, delivering the Democrats a humiliating defeat. Hillary Clinton concedes the next day. The stage is set for a Republican White House, Congress, and Supreme Court for the first time in 8 years. And in 2020, Scott Walker does win re-election by a bigger margin. He defeats the Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren. In the end, she ends up hurting the Democratic ticket because of her likability issue. Scott Walker wins another term, and he is the current president of the United States. So how would this change America? That is the big question. Well, I'm not going to answer that in this video. But what I can say is, this scenario was only possible because Ronald Reagan and George W. Bush was both assassinated. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, please subscribe, and please comment and share as much as possible, and I'll see you next time.